Hi guys, press conference with Stephen Kenny, post-match press conference. We're going to do a small embargoed section for the Irish media at the end as well. So if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll get the microphone to you. Damien, do you want to start us?
Stephen, obviously the campaign hasn't ended the way you wanted it to. Are you still convinced there's a foundation in place for the future?
Yes, without doubt there is. What was the alternative? Do you know what I mean? What was the, like, if you can tell me, we've, you know, all of our players, obviously it was a deficit of many years, and all of our players, a lot of our players have moved down to divisions. So absolutely, these are the best players that Ireland have now, and certainly they've gone against a world-class team. They're one of the best teams in Europe, and you know, it's a tough game when you come to Holland, for sure. There's no doubt about that. The reason no Irish team in its history has beaten a team of Holland's calibre away from home, and there's been better teams than us, you know, for sure. A lot of great teams, is because it's really difficult, really difficult to beat a tier 1 nation like that away from home in a qualifier. So it was a tough game, but a lot of good things in it from our point of view, and so that's what I would say.
And just, I know you don't want to talk about your future, but have you been able to enjoy your time in charge of the Ireland team so far?
Yeah, like it's an absolute privilege to manage Ireland. I always said that, and I always would feel that. And yes, it's been a sort of a roller coaster of emotions, of course. But yeah, no, it's always been an honour to manage Ireland.
McDowell?
Stephen, it was a bit of backs to the wall in defence. Stephen, it was a bit backs to the wall in defence, but talk us maybe through the display of Gavin Bazunu, who pulled off a number of saves, and Liam Scales, who was only playing his second international against such a good side.
I wouldn't see it as backs to the wall myself, but I think obviously because we didn't sit back, we didn't take one step back, not one step back. We absolutely pressed Holland high up the pitch. We went after them. The players were courageous in possession. They worked their socks off out of possession, worked incessantly, and they put their bodies on the line. Yes, they played through us, and they created chances in the second half, and it required last-ditch defending, players putting their body on the line, and it required Gavin Bazunu to play really well. And he did that, and that kept us in the game. And just couldn't get that level of creativity in the final third that we required to break down, a really top-class defence. So we just didn't create enough with the possession we had. We found it difficult to penetrate their back three, but overall I felt that the players gave everything of themselves.
Ed?
Stephen, if you could just talk us through the goal and your feelings towards it. Imagine you're disappointed with the way it was conceded, and the fact there was also no cover when you were playing such a high line up out of defence.
Yeah, listen, it was a period of dominance from us in terms of in possession. We had all the players were switching to play quite well, and we were in the ascendancy away from home against Holland in possession, and then we conceded, and they had a lot of chances in the second half, to be fair, Holland, and deserved their win. There's not disputing that. Of course they did, but that was their first chance, but it wasn't, obviously Ryan Manning and Nathan collided, and that opened up for Weghorst to go and score, and obviously it was a brilliant finish from that. You wouldn't expect him to score from that angle, but it was a phenomenal finish. and we got punished.
And just in terms of the selection for tonight's game, one of the areas we had real joy in the first game was the energy of the front two putting pressure on the central defensive unit. That didn't transpire tonight with Adam sitting on the bench. Obviously, Chidozi's injured. We're not tempted to just go Adam from the start to bring that energy in that advanced central role?
Yeah, well, we played differently against in the first game. Tactically, we played 3-4, 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3. We played 3-5-2 tonight in that game in the first half, and so it's different tactically. But you know, that's, you know, I respect your opinion. You know, that's your opinion, so I respect it.
Paul, please.
Stephen, would you not have been better off sort of playing more conservatively and trying to nick something out of the game?
Well, it depends, you know, on it's a bit of opinions. We you know, I don't think that would have worked personally. I don't think if we just sat in deep and tried to clear the lines and, you know, sat deep, and I don't think it would have worked. I don't think we, you know, I don't see that as. I know you can play in the counter attack. I'm not saying you can't do that, but I don't think sitting deep and just going long, I don't think it would have worked against Holland.
So obviously this could be your last competitive game, Stephen. So what's your message to, you know, the fans and people at home and people in Ireland about your 4 or 5 years in the job?
No, I think with the under-21 team, including that, yeah, I think my first game was obviously September 3 years ago. So, but I think, you know, tonight is not the night for that. I'm not, you know, I don't think. Obviously, we've got another game on Tuesday, and we'll see after that. But I don't think tonight is a night where I need to sum up anything really. But tonight's game, and I think we're disappointed to lose the game, you know. But Holland were you know, they're very good on the night.
Okay, we're moving to a small embargoed section, so from this point onwards is 11 p.m. on Sunday. Paul?
Stephen, I appreciate what you're saying. Sorry, what you're saying there about your future. Do you feel that this could have been handled a bit better than not knowing, in terms of a straight answer? You're going into Tuesday's game, which is, you know, supposed to be a farewell for James McLean, but perhaps yourself as well. Could have been handled better by the association?
No, I've no complaints in that regard. You know, I think, you know, I've no complaints. For me, it was about trying to win tonight, trying to win the game tonight, and you know, we wanted to try and do that. And then we've got the game, of course, on Tuesday, which I don't know, up to the other day, I don't know how many tickets now or so, but up to the other day, there was clearance that 39,000 sold or something for Tuesday, which is incredible, really. So it's so, you know, I've got to prepare for Tuesday now, and we got, you know, a couple of 1 or 2 knocks tonight, so we have to see how people are. We wanted to, obviously, it's a full house tonight. It was a special occasion with Holland trying to qualify to win the group, or to qualify for the Euros, and we wanted to put in a strong performance and try and get that big win. And the players gave everything, and did a lot of really good things tonight. Played really well at times, but Holland obviously showed their quality.
Dan?
Stephen, just taking the 2 Gibraltar games out of it, in the other 6 games it's been, I think, a penalty and Nathan's goal in Greece. Is it frustrating that ultimately you haven't been able to, I suppose, address, you know, that sort of issue of creativity and actually creating and taking chances in those 6 games, because it's a stark enough return from 6 matches?
Yeah, and that hadn't been an issue for us. We had been scoring a lot of goals. We probably had been conceding too many coming into that into the campaign. We'd been scoring a lot of goals. That was probably an issue that wasn't an issue for us. But yeah, obviously a lot of those games against France and Holland, of course. So, but yeah, no, it's a legitimate criticism.
Can I just clarify, Evan was an injury that he came off with, or was it a tactical decision?
Listen, he has a tight. He was tight. He maybe could have played on, but he's tight hamstring, and we'll see. You know, we sort of took him off with that. You know.
Any further questions? Gavin?
Liam Scales seemed to be lifted off by the medical team at the end of the game, was it? He looked a bit shook up.
I know
Was
it's
it?
probably Nathan.
Oh, it was Nathan. Sorry, it was Nathan. Sorry, yeah. Is he okay?
Hurt his ankle, so we'll see how he is. You know, we'll see how he is.
Gavin, just behind you now.
Thanks. Post match, Stephen, your players, Matt Doherty and Gavin Bazunu, came out and said that the work you're doing should be allowed to continue. Do you feel yourself you've got some unfinished business, regardless of the results that have happened in the last year?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I'm biased in this viewpoint, so it's an objective. But yeah, of course, I mean, of course I do, but it's you know, I see what the team can become now. You know, I think all of those players now coming through together, and there has been a bit of pain with that. And obviously the group was an exceptionally tough group, but there has been a lot of pain with trying to rebuild a team, and you're never going to rebuild a team without setbacks. It's not realistic. And I don't. People go on about my record, and to be honest with you, I completely don't think the first 10 games or the first part of it with COVID, I don't think that's fair at all. That's referred to overall in my record. I said that before, and it wasn't well received. But so many players, with different rules for in Ireland to the rest of Europe in relation to close contacts and the 2 metre rule, and we just have one window where completely 12 players missing with, and not many of them had COVID. So I think it was, and that was without injuries. That was just from the COVID side of it. So from then on, I feel I'm not trying to. I feel like I'm trying to justify it, but from then on up to tonight, since our first win, we've had 11 wins and now 11 defeats and 6 draws. And we've played a lot of the top nations, but obviously I'm disappointed with the campaign, with the result, or with the lack of points, and obviously the games against Greece. Of course I am. I'm disappointed with that, and we take responsibility for that. But of course, I think I think the team will be a really good team, and there's some players missing tonight, attacking players like you talk about, cutting edge players like Chidozie Ogbenya and Michael Obafemi, for example, who provide real pace. So they're two amongst others that are not there tonight. So the I do feel. But as I say, I may indeed be in a minority. So it's that's sport, and that's the tough side of sport. So it's we've got a game on Tuesday, and we're going to be positive going into the game and trying to prepare well. Obviously, there will be some changes and so forth, and we want to finish strong, and then it's completely out of my hands.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.